I woke up that morning feeling like everything in my life was exactly where it should be. 2 years with Megan and I truly believed I had found the one. I worked hard, paid the bills, made sure she never had to worry about money. But that morning when I opened Instagram and searched for her profile, I could not find myself anywhere. 2 years of love and I had vanished from her online life like I never existed. And if you think being deleted from Instagram was the worst part, wait until you hear the reason she gave me. Before we dive into this story, let me know in the comments where you are watching from today. If you have ever felt invisible in your own relationship, hit that like button. And make sure you subscribe because what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about love and respect. My name is Derek, and at 32 years old, I thought I had life figured out pretty well. I work as a software engineer at a tech company here in Austin, Texas. It took me 10 years of grinding late nights, endless coding sessions, and a lot of cold coffee to get where I am. My salary sits around $140,000 a year, which sounds impressive until you realize how expensive life in Austin has become. But here's the thing about me. I have never been the flashy type. While my coworkers drove BMWs and Teslas, I kept my old Honda Accord. It had over 120,000 miles on it, a small dent on the rear bumper from a parking lot incident, and a passenger seat that made a weird squeaking noise. But it ran perfectly fine, and every dollar I did not spend on a fancy car went straight into my savings account. I had a plan. Buy a house, start a family, build something real and lasting. I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment on the east side of the city. Nothing fancy but comfortable. Good natural light, a decent kitchen, and a small balcony where I would drink my morning coffee. It was my sanctuary, the place where I recharged after long days staring at computer screens. That apartment became even more meaningful when Megan moved in after 6 months of dating. I met Megan at a coffee shop in downtown Austin on a random Saturday afternoon. She was 27 with the kind of smile that made you forget what you were about to order. She worked part-time at a clothing boutique, but she told me her real passion was building her personal brand on social media. She wanted to be an influencer to inspire people to create content that mattered. I found that ambition attractive at first. Here was someone who had dreams, who was willing to put herself out there, who was not afraid to chase something unconventional. When she talked about her vision, her eyes would light up, and I would find myself nodding along, genuinely impressed by her determination. Our first dates always ended up at photogenic restaurants. Places with neon signs, aesthetic plating, interesting wall art. Megan would spend the first 10 minutes arranging the food, adjusting the lighting on her phone, taking shot after shot until she got the perfect angle. I would sit there patiently watching my food get cold, but I did not mind. I paid the bill every time and it felt natural. I was the guy, I made good money, and she was building something. It seemed like a fair arrangement. After about a year together, I started noticing patterns I had somehow missed before. I was paying for everything. Not just dinners and dates, but rent, utilities, groceries, her phone bill, her gym membership, her streaming subscriptions. When I sat down one evening and actually added it all up, the number shocked me. I was spending close to $4,000 a month just on her expenses. Then Megan quit her part-time job at the boutique. She said she needed to focus full-time on building her brand, that working retail was holding her back from creating content. I supported the decision. I told myself I was investing in her dream, that once she made it big, she would remember how I stood by her when no one else believed in her. That was when I made the decision to add her as an authorized user on one of my credit cards. I set the limit at $5,000 a month, thinking that would be more than enough for whatever content creation expenses she had. New outfits for photos, maybe some equipment, a few props here and there. I also bought her a car. A used BMW 3 Series about 3 years old with 30,000 miles on it. It cost me $28,000, but Megan explained that she needed a professional image. She could not show up to brand meetings and influencer events in an Uber. It made sense at the time. Everything she said always made sense at the time. That particular morning started like any other. I woke up around 6:30, made coffee, and scrolled through my phone while the caffeine kicked in. I opened Instagram out of habit planning to like whatever Megan had posted the night before. But when I searched for her username, something felt off. Her profile came up, but I was not following her anymore. Strange. I tapped the follow button thinking it was some kind of glitch. Then I started scrolling through her photos. My stomach dropped. Every single picture that had me in it was gone. That trip to San Diego last summer where we walked along the beach at sunset, deleted. The Christmas photo in front of the tree at my parents' house, gone. Our anniversary dinner at that fancy steakhouse downtown, vanished. 2 years of memories, and I had been surgically removed from every single one. Some photos were still there, but I had been cropped out. I recognized the background of our trip to Denver, the restaurant where we celebrated her birthday, the rooftop bar where I proposed a toast to her first brand deal. The locations remained, but I had been cut out of the frame like a stranger who accidentally walked into someone else's picture. The feeling in my chest was hard to describe. Like someone had reached into my ribcage and squeezed. I sat there on the edge of my bed, phone in hand, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Maybe her account got hacked. Maybe there was some explanation that would make this all okay. I waited until that evening to bring it up. Megan came home around 7 carrying shopping bags from stores I knew I would see on my credit card statement later. She kissed me on the cheek, dropped the bags by the couch, and started telling me about her day. I let her finish before I spoke. I tried to keep my voice calm. I asked her about Instagram, about why I could not find myself in any of her photos anymore. She did not even flinch. She sat down across from me and shrugged like I had asked about the weather. "Babe, it is nothing personal," she said. "I am rebranding. My aesthetic is more lifestyle influencer now. Your vibe does not really fit the image I am building." I remember staring at her, waiting for her to laugh, to tell me she was joking. But her face was completely serious. I asked her what she meant by my vibe not fitting. Megan sighed like she was explaining something obvious to a child. She told me she was positioning herself as an independent boss babe. Her target demographic was young women who wanted to see a successful, self-made woman living her best life. Having a software engineer boyfriend in the pictures sent the wrong message. I was too normal, she said. Too average. Not the kind of guy her followers wanted to see. The words hit me like a slap across the face. Too normal. Too average. This was coming from the woman who could not pay her own phone bill, who drove a car I bought, who lived in an apartment I paid for. And I was the one who did not fit her image. She tried to soften it by explaining further. She said this was purely a business decision. It had nothing to do with how she felt about me in real life. She still loved me. She just needed to present a certain image online. She compared it to how companies have brand guidelines, how they carefully curate what they show the public. She said I should understand because I worked in tech and knew about marketing. I did not know what to say. I just sat there in silence while she got up, grabbed her shopping bags, and headed to the bedroom like the conversation was over. Over the next few days, I started noticing things I had been blind to before. Little details that suddenly seemed significant. Megan had a group of influencer friends she hung out with regularly. I had never met any of them. Not once in 2 years. Whenever she went to events, networking parties, or brand launches, she always went alone. There was only one invite, she would say. Or it was an exclusive thing. Or she did not want to bore me with industry talk. I pulled up my credit card statements on my laptop one night while Megan was in the shower. The numbers painted a picture I did not want to see. A Gucci handbag for $2,300. Louboutin heels for $950. Spa treatments totaling over $400 a month. Dinners at restaurants I had never heard of, places I had certainly never been to with her. She was living an entirely separate life, on my money. A life that apparently did not include me. The phone call from Marcus came on a Thursday evening. Marcus and I had been friends since our freshman year of college. He was the kind of friend who would tell you the truth even when you did not want to hear it. He had never liked Megan much, though he had been polite about it. "Dude, are you and Megan still together?" he asked. His voice had that careful tone people use when they are about to deliver bad news. I told him yes, of course we were. Why was he asking? He paused for a moment. Then he told me he had been scrolling through Instagram and saw Megan in some guy's stories. He sent me a screenshot. I opened the image and felt my heart stop. There was Megan at some rooftop bar I did not recognize, standing next to a man in an expensive-looking suit. He had his arm casually draped around her waist. The caption read, "Networking with amazing people," followed by a string of hashtags about entrepreneurship and success. Marcus told me this was not the first time. He had seen her pop up on this guy's profile at least 3 or 4 times over the past month. He had not said anything before because he was not sure, did not want to start drama over nothing. I thanked him and hung up. My hands were shaking as I went to the guy's profile. His name was Tyler. His bio described him as an entrepreneur investor and motivational speaker. He had over 300,000 followers and the kind of polished feed that screamed money and success. Scrolling through his posts, I saw Megan in several of them. Always in the background at first, then gradually more prominent. Comments between them filled with fire emojis and heart eyes. Inside jokes I did not understand. The ground beneath my feet felt like it was crumbling. I did not confront Megan right away. Something told me to wait to gather more information before I said anything. Maybe I wanted to be absolutely certain before I blew up my entire life. Or maybe I just was not ready to face the truth. I started paying closer attention to her schedule. She had told me about an influencer retreat in Dallas the previous month. A whole weekend of workshops and networking with other content creators. I remembered driving her to the airport, kissing her goodbye, telling her to have fun and learn a lot. I pulled up the credit card statement from that weekend. There it was, a hotel charge in Dallas for 3 nights. But the charge was for a room rate that seemed high. I called the hotel pretending to be confirming a past reservation. The receptionist cheerfully confirmed that yes, the room had been booked for 2 guests. 2 guests. I sat with that information for a long time. My mind kept trying to find innocent explanations. Maybe she had roomed with another influencer to save money. Maybe the hotel made a mistake. But deep down I knew. She had used my money to take another man to a hotel in Dallas. That night I sat alone in the dark living room after Megan had gone to bed. The apartment felt different now. The furniture I had bought, the TV I had paid for, the art on the walls that she had picked out with my credit card. Everything looked like evidence of my own foolishness. I thought about the past 2 years. Every sacrifice I had made. Every extra hour I had worked to make sure she had everything she needed. Every time I had told myself that love meant giving without expecting anything in return. Your vibe does not fit my aesthetic. The words echoed in my head. And somewhere in that echo something shifted. The hurt did not disappear, but it crystallized into something harder. Something colder. If I did not fit her aesthetic, then my money did not need to fit her lifestyle. I opened my laptop and logged into my bank account. Then I logged into the credit card portal. My fingers moved with a calm precision that surprised me. I was not angry in the explosive way I expected. This was different. This was calculated. First, I canceled the credit card I had given her. I called the number on the back, worked through the automated menu, and requested immediate cancellation of the authorized user. The representative confirmed the change would take effect within the hour. Next, I called the auto insurance company. I explained that I needed to remove a driver from my policy. Megan was no longer going to be covered on the BMW that I had bought and titled in my name. The representative processed the request without question. I sent an email to our landlord. Our lease was coming up for renewal in 30 days anyway, and my name was the only one on the agreement. I informed him that I would not be renewing, and that the other occupant would be vacating the premises by the end of the month. I transferred my savings into a new account at a different bank, an account Megan knew nothing about. Every dollar I had worked for over the past decade was now completely out of her reach. Finally, I went to the bedroom closet where Megan kept most of her things. Quietly, so as not to wake her, I began packing her belongings into the designer suitcases I had bought for her last Christmas. Her clothes, her shoes, her makeup, her ring light and tripod. Everything she would need to continue her independent boss babe lifestyle. I placed a note on top of the neatly stacked luggage. The words came easily. Your stuff is packed. The card is canceled. The car insurance is canceled. You have 30 days to find a new place. Consider this my way of supporting your independent boss babe aesthetic. I went to sleep on the couch that night, and for the first time in months, I slept peacefully. The next day at work, my phone started buzzing around 1 in the afternoon. I was in a meeting when the notifications started rolling in. 17 missed calls from Megan. Text messages in all capitals. What did you do? My card got declined at Nordstrom. Everyone was staring at me. Call me right now. I silenced my phone and finished my meeting. When my workday ended at 5:30, I sat in my car in the parking garage and finally called her back. She answered on the first ring, already screaming. She called me crazy. She said I had humiliated her in front of the cashier and everyone in line behind her. She demanded to know what kind of psychopath cancels someone's credit card without warning. She said I was destroying her life, ruining everything she had worked for. I waited for her to run out of breath. When she finally paused, I spoke calmly. I thought about what you said. You were right. I need to think about my aesthetic too. And having a girlfriend who uses my money while pretending I do not exist does not fit my financial aesthetic. There was a long pause on the other end. When she spoke again, her voice had shifted. Softer now. Crying. She said she was sorry. She said she loved me. She said it was all a misunderstanding, that she could explain everything. I asked her one simple question. Was the guy in Dallas also a misunderstanding? The silence stretched on for what felt like minutes. Then the line went dead. She had hung up. I sat in my car and looked out at the evening sky through the parking garage exit. Something inside me had untangled. A knot I did not even know I had been carrying for 2 years had finally loosened. Megan moved out 2 weeks later. She did not say a word to me. She sent one of her friends to collect the rest of her things while I was at work. When I came home that evening, the apartment felt emptier than it ever had. Her presence was gone, but the imprint of her remained everywhere. The empty spaces where her things used to be. The lingering scent of her perfume in the closet. The first few weeks were harder than I expected. I had convinced myself that I was done with her, that the anger and betrayal would be enough to carry me through. But grief does not work that way. Some nights I would lie awake remembering the good times. The way she laughed at my terrible jokes. The lazy Sunday mornings we spent in bed watching cooking shows. The version of her I thought I knew. I questioned myself constantly. Had I been too harsh? Should I have talked to her first, given her a chance to explain? Was I really any better than her, cutting her off so coldly and completely? But then I would remember the hotel in Dallas. The photos with Tyler. The words, your vibe does not fit my aesthetic. And I would remind myself that I had not made those choices. She had. Marcus refused to let me spiral. He showed up at my apartment one Saturday with a case of beer and refused to leave until I agreed to go to the gym with him the next morning. It was the first of many such interventions. He dragged me out of the apartment, forced me to eat real food, made me talk about things other than Megan. I started going back to the gym regularly. It was something I had given up during the relationship because Megan always complained that I spent too much time there. She preferred when I was home, available, ready to take her wherever she needed to go. Now I remembered how much I had loved the ritual of it. The weight of the barbell, the burn in my muscles, the clarity that came after a good workout. I reconnected with old friends I had drifted away from. College buddies I had not seen in over a year. Co-workers I had always been too busy to grab drinks with. I realized how small my world had become, how I had built everything around Megan and left nothing for myself. Work became a refuge. I threw myself into projects with a focus I had not felt in years. My manager noticed. Within 4 months I was promoted to senior engineer. The raise was significant, but more than that, I felt proud of myself again. I was building something on my own terms. With the money I was saving, I did something I had dreamed about for years. I put a down payment on a small house in the suburbs of Austin. 3 bedrooms, a nice backyard, a garage where I could finally set up a proper workshop. The first night I slept there in my own house that I had earned, I felt a peace I had not experienced in years. About 6 months after the breakup, Marcus texted me a screenshot. It was Megan's Instagram profile. Her follower count had dropped significantly. The glossy lifestyle posts had become less frequent. Tyler was nowhere to be seen on her feed anymore. He had unfollowed her months ago, apparently. She had gone back to working retail according to the mutual acquaintances who still followed her. The designer bags and fancy dinners had disappeared from her content. She was still trying to make the influencer thing work, but the magic she once projected seemed to have faded. I looked at the screenshot for a long moment, waiting to feel something. Satisfaction, maybe. Vindication. But there was nothing. Just a quiet emptiness, like looking at a photo of a stranger. I unfollowed her that day. I deleted every photo I had of her from my phone. And I never searched for her profile again. Sitting on the back porch of my new house one evening, watching the sun set behind the oak trees in my yard, I thought about everything I had learned. The biggest lesson was not about Megan, not really. It was about me. I had lost myself in that relationship. I had measured my worth by how much I could provide, how much I could give, how well I could take care of someone else. I had forgotten that I deserved to be valued too. Not for my salary or my credit limit, but for who I actually was. Real love does not require you to disappear. It does not ask you to be edited out of the picture. It does not treat you like a background character in someone else's story. I do not hate Megan. Hating her would mean she still has power over me. Instead, I feel something closer to pity mixed with gratitude. Pity, because she will probably spend her whole life chasing an image instead of building something real. Gratitude, because she taught me what I will never accept again. These days I am seeing someone new. Her name is Jessica. We met at the gym of all places. She does not care about Instagram followers or aesthetic feeds. She does not know what kind of car I drive or how much money sits in my bank account. She likes me for the conversations we have, the hikes we take together, the way I make her laugh with my terrible puns. I do not know what the future holds for us. Maybe it will work out. Maybe it will not. But I know one thing for certain. I will never let myself become invisible again. I will never delete myself from my own life to fit someone else's picture. Sometimes being removed from someone's story is not a loss at all. It is just the universe clearing space for the people who actually want you in the frame. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt invisible in your own relationship? Have you ever given everything to someone who made you feel like you were not enough? Drop a comment below and share your story. You might help someone else realize they are not alone. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you do not miss the next story. Thank you for spending this time with me. Whatever you are going through, I hope you remember that you deserve to be seen, valued, and loved exactly as you are. Take care of yourself.